Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reviews That Don't Matter with Jessica Hitt. My name is Jessica Hitt, and on today's episode, we are going to be talking about The Big Sick. This movie came out this last summer, actually, and was kind of in the Oscar running thing, all of that stuff. But really, it's only gotten the Best Screenplay nomination just recently, which is a damn shame. I'll get into that. If you don't know what The Big Sick is, it is a movie starring Kumail Nanjiani. I believe Zoe Kazan is how you pronounce it. Holly Hunter, Ray Romano's in this. And it is a story based off of how Kumail and his wife Emily have met, and they wrote the story together. And it is just absolutely beautiful. If I had seen this movie before I made my top favorite movies of the year of 2017, this would have been number one. This movie is so real in the same sense that Lady Bird, when you were watching it, felt so real and felt like these real people and these real situations that anyone could find themselves in. That's exactly how I feel with The Big Sick. It was so well done with the acting, and the writing was just so... I mean, when you see dialogue up there that you would normally have with another person, it's so fascinating because, you have these sort of weird and awkward moments that don't usually show up in a lot of films because the dialogue is so it's written out in a certain way to where it's like these characters already thought of what they were going to say, obviously, as opposed to it kind of feeling like you're improvising, which is exactly what life is you're just improvising through your entire life. And it's also this really interesting story of having two different cultures falling in love. You have, of course, Zoe Kazan, who is a sort of traditional white European family in America who doesn't quite understand a lot of other cultural social norms type stuff. And then, of course, you have Kumail, who is Pakistani. His whole family is. They came over... I believe he lived in Pakistan for a while, and then they moved to the U.S. For that sort of American dream life. But as it's stated in the film, Kumail kind of is just like, why do you want me to have this American dream life, but have all of these very, very Pakistani values? And it has a lot of underlying tones of sort of how it's not okay to marry outside of your culture, and how difficult that can be and how hard it is to understand, especially someone from just a very basic American background who isn't necessarily exposed to a lot of these cultural norms from all over the world. So, and especially something like Pakistan, who has such a very, very different set of morals, set of cultural family traditions and all of that kind of stuff. But at the same time of having all of those differences, this movie really outlines the fact that people are just people, and they have the same wants and needs and feelings, and dealing with that when you have all of this pressure to be what is expected of you. And it really just touches a chord with me, and I don't know if that's the actual saying, I just said it like that, so hopefully it's right. But this movie just it really got to me. I was laughing, I was crying throughout almost the entire movie. I'm tearing up just talking about it right now, is how much I love this film and how real it was. And it's weird too, because I identified more with Kumail's character of kind of feeling restricted, and not necessarily... The great thing about this love story is that nobody's making these super crazy love professions or whatever. You're not doing the running in the rain type thing that you would see in a lot of romantic comedies or Nicholas Sparks' book. This is real. This is people that are messing up and don't know how to express their feelings. So I saw a lot of myself in Kumail's character, who has a hard time saying some of that stuff. And then from an acting standpoint, it's acted amazingly. You have Kumail and Zoe, who have great chemistry, and it's so strange because you got to think that Kumail's actual wife, who is the real Emily, was there on set. I'm assuming she wrote the part, and so it's kind of interesting to think of it from that end, of Zoe Kazan playing a real life character, and having to be involved with the actual character in real life. It's really kind of mind-bending to think about if you were on set. And Zoe Kazan does a really great job of being this character who can traditionally be that altogether amazing girl, to where she's super funny, and she gets all these jokes, and she's really witty and smart and cool and kind of a little bit of a tomboy, but also likes to be girly. and doesn't have this whole hang up on having sex on the first date type of thing. But they show that she can be a little irrational at times, and she can get really heated, and she's stubborn, and these little faults that make the character so much more real than you would see in a regular type of romance movie or romantic comedy or a drama. Like, she's not a fake character. She's a real, tangible person who has faults, but also is pretty awesome. And then you have Holly Hunter and Ray Romano, whose side story of being Emily's parents is like so almost terrifying. The fact that you could be so in love but make so many mistakes in a relationship and still like really care about the person but be fighting all the time, and sometimes you're not always on the same page but you're staying together. Like, that's terrifying to me, and also probably why I don't open up to a lot of people in my life. But it's so like heartbreaking but satisfying to watch this whole thing unravel, especially with Kumail really bonding with the parents while Emily, Zoe Kazan's character, is sick, which is the big sick. She gets really sick. She's in a coma for like a while, and so Kumail kind of bonds with her parents after this big fight, after they broke up, and he kind of falls in love with her while she's in a coma, and at the same time, he has his whole ordeal with his side of the family, which I'm going to look up the names because I don't want to get them wrong. And I'm probably going to completely mispronounce these names, and I'm sorry, but I'm doing my best here. Anupam Kher and Zenobia Shroff play the mom and dad on Kumail's side, and I loved them. I thought that there was like this really interesting story of heartbreak in their family, and the fact that they're expecting their son to marry a Pakistani woman who they're trying to do sort of an arranged marriage, and they're constantly inviting all of these women over for him to meet and choose from. So it's like really hard for a lot of people, like people who grew up in America or Canada or even Mexico or Europe or I don't know if Russia, I don't think Russia does arranged marriages. But it's really like a lot of the Middle East, India, I think some in China as well. But Pakistan is just expected. It happened with his brother, who he ended up falling in love with his wife and being best friends, but that doesn't happen all the time, and Kumail is so like uninvolved in all that stuff, and he just doesn't have his heart in it, and he doesn't plan on ever really picking a wife. And this sort of like inner battle with the parents, the dad who wants to be accepting but is siding with the mom, who is like so disgraced in a way and wants to disown her son, but like can't disown her son. And it's just so beautiful to see that. And then to also see that, I don't want to spoil anything, but I guess technically, they're married, so in real life. So they had to accept him somehow. And there's this really great scene in the movie where Kumail comes into his family's home when they're eating dinner, when he's supposed to be there, but they've already disowned him because they found out that he's in love with a white chick, and not a Pakistani who they have approved of. And he's basically demanding that he is staying in this family. He's not going to give up. He's not going to let them disown him. And it's this great, really great scene that just kind of goes by in a flash, and they don't really say anything, and he just kind of goes in, he does his thing, and comes out. And I'm like choking up talking about it. Like, it's really hard to get through this because I love this movie so much, and it is a damn shame that this is not nominated for Best Picture. It is. Best screenplay, yes. I haven't seen everything just yet, but like I want this to win. I want Emily Gordon and Kumail Nanjiani to win writers for the best screenplay for The Big Sick. I am rooting for it. I think that Holly Hunter and Ray Romano both deserved Best Supporting Actor nominations. I think that there's no reason for The Big Sick not to be nominated for Best Picture. No reason whatsoever. And this genuinely makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. And this is a movie I would recommend to literally anybody. I don't think there's one person that can watch The Big Sick and not like it. This movie will make you feel something. If you want to see it, is on Amazon Prime. You can rent it obviously on iTunes. I go out of your way to see this film. I am serious. This is like, if you're taking any of my recommendations seriously, watch this movie. Okay, I hope you guys liked this review. I did. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on The Big Sick? Also, don't forget to subscribe. I make videos Monday through Friday, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.